Hello and welcome to my channel. Vice Rhino here. Cirrus is not over there because he's going to get food
No,
or something.
no, I'm right here.
Oh, you said you were going to get
I'm
food.
here. I have the food in my hand. I had to run to get my drink refilled.
Okay, because you were all like, oh, I need food to make my brain not go off topic. And then I was like, but I don't think that's going to stop it.
Oh, no. So that's not what I was referring to. So last week during the last
Hats, Artemis. Thanks for the hats, Artemis.
do you remember last week when I actually asked for us to stay on the topic instead of ADHDing into another lookup thing for 10 minutes?
No.
Okay. It was
Is that a thing that happened?
It was a thing that happened while we were in the middle of the tweets. And the reason I did that was my brain was drifting, and anything that unfocused it even a little further was actively giving me a migraine. So when we ended my original plan of, okay, well, I'm going to do my other topics now, I couldn't. I was just like, nope, I am at the tail end of what I can do now. Shit.
So you guys helped me murder Cirrus by using my ADHD powers to trigger his ADHD not powers. Weaknesses.
My ADHD buff?
Yeah. My ADHD buff triggers your ADHD debuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, I mean, it is what it is.
There's nothing that can be done about it, and it's not one of those things where I'm just going to be like, fuck that Vice Rhino person. How dare he use Google? No. It was just me going, okay, I know that happened to me last time, and I know that I was approaching the point of being hungry at 8. Okay.
Speaking of...
So trying to think of how I was going to be at 11, I was like, well, no, this is getting solved now.
Speaking of Google, though, I do need you to remind me if I forget to bring up my Google search with regards to the first news item that we're going to cover tonight.
You think I can remember things?
Okay. No, however, if I ask you to remind me, I am more likely to remember myself. So... yeah.
So bring up something Google search.
Thank you, my little geekery, for redeeming the hydrate. I actually have water today. Yeah. So my week's been dog shit.
What happened with your week?
Well, let's see. There was vomit last night.
Mm-hmm.
All the kids are sick.
Mm-hmm.
Heidi says she feels like she's getting sick. And she's got a full day of work tomorrow, so if she has to cancel all those appointments, that's a lot of money down the drain. And on top of that, Piper is sick. So everybody's sick. But Piper being sick means that I had to edit my own goddamn video, which that in and of itself is not an issue. It does mean there's no Meathead Monday this coming Monday, because the Friday videos take precedence. But then Adobe was like, fuck you, I'm not exporting that.
You know, DaVinci could resolve your problem.
No, it can't, because that would I'd have to learn a whole new workflow to edit one single video. So no. That would have taken just as long, if not longer, than convincing Adobe to do it.
Yeah, but I still had to use the pun.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, and all the Linux nuts in the chat are like, hey, you told us the other week that you were going to Linux Mint. Just use Kdenlive. I'm like, no. I tried it. It is so painful to use compared to any of the Windows video editors.
I respect Linux. I really do. But there are two kinds of people who are more insufferable than certain religious apologists. Vegan apologists and Linux apologists. Now, granted,
although Linus Torvalds is based.
The Linux apologists are also correct. I just can't stand listening to them.
I mean, the least helpful ones are the ones where, like, if somebody complains that something isn't there, they're just like, oh, well, it's open source, so just make it yourself. You're like, no. I don't want to.
It's like, I'm looking for a solution to a thing.
That is a minority. I have only come across that once. So, yeah. Um, but yeah, so my week has been absolute dog shit, and I'm exhausted, and everybody's sick. And yeah, I spent a good chunk of the night last night using a towel to clean up a vomit because we didn't have any paper towel. So that we have
Jeez.
one last towel in the house.
I mean, is your laundry running right now?
Yes, it is. It's my bed
Does it have
sheets
the
from
towels in it right now?
No, the towel is in the garbage. It was far too chunky for me to be willing to deal with. Like, I'm not putting those chunks in the washing machine because they will be there for a while. They were too big for the drain.
You take it outside
No,
and you smack it
No.
on the ground.
no. I bring the garbage bag next to where I'm cleaning it up, and once I get as much of it as I can into the towel, I shove it into the garbage bag and then take that outside and never bring it back in the house again.
So now you're going to go buy new towels.
Well, it was only one towel. Okay. I'm suspecting. I just assumed that I was normal in this. I guess that's a bad assumption always. But are you guys not like completely grossed out by vomit to the point where like the idea of it makes you feel like you need to vomit?
I mean, it does gross me out very close to that point.
Like
But I also recognize that I have limited money.
Yeah, but I have other towels in the house. And like
You said you only had one.
no, I said we don't have paper towels, which is why I was using an actual towel.
Oh.
No, we do have other towels, but yeah, no, like the smell of it is such that like I can't clean it up all at once. I have to like walk away and wash my hands and come back or whatever, and it's like, no, cannot
Oh,
deal
see,
with
I
it.
have a catch-all solution to that problem. It's called you take a thing of rubbing alcohol and you spray it over it before you ever go near it.
Yeah, no, I definitely
That's
did
my
use
catch-all
rubbing
solution to that.
alcohol. It does not actually that it just adds other smells onto the smell. It doesn't make the smell go away. Yeah, so Magical Cat Girl, smell of gum makes me feel like that as well, and minty things as well. Those I recognize are my neurospicy sensory issues, but the vomit thing, I just assumed it's a disgusting thing that nobody wants anything to do with. So I figured that my reaction to vomit was not a sensory issue, it's just gross.
Have you seen Scat?
Menthol on the mustache. No, do you want to make me throw up faster? Gross.
Vic's Vapo Rub has entered the chat.
Fennec, I am aware of that. I have seen Two Girls, One Cup. I have no desire to see it again. But, yeah. Yeah. So that's been my week so far.
Fair. Lost your sense of smell to COVID first.
Oh,
a
yeah,
lot of
that
people
would
have
have
lost
been
their sense of smell to COVID.
that would have been nice. Unfortunately, I got my booster not too long ago. But yeah, so that was fun. I feel like there was something else I wanted to bring up, and it might have been news related.
Might have been news related.
Yeah, no, there was like a couple things that I don't really want to cover in detail. No, not the control panel. I want my webmail. I have been logged out, and for some reason, my password manager extension on Firefox doesn't know that it's connected to the internet.
Stuff says that, or it's horse related. Can we not anymore with the fucking horse?
I mean, okay. The Bubba thing. We didn't talk about the Bubba thing last week, did we?
No, because it didn't
Okay.
happen on Wednesday.
I know you talked about the Bubba thing on one of your streams. I saw the title of it pop up. So, yeah, I do not for a second think that Donald Trump blew Bill Clinton. However, my first thought when I saw the Bubba email was Bubba the Love Sponge. And my first thought when I thought of Bubba the Love Sponge was, that actually tracks. Are you aware of Bubba the Love Sponge?
No.
He was a radio personality who I'm okay. People are mentioning Stoff and talking about horses. Now I remember seeing fan art on Blue Sky to
Could
that.
you don't?
So I have seen that one. Was that related to the Bubba thing?
That was immediately after I did the video on it.
Okay.
I don't get to escape it.
Yeah. But, yeah, so Bubba the Love Sponge was a radio personality, I think, in Florida. Florida just seems like the place where this would be. When Hulk Hogan was feeling depressed, he invited him over to feel better by having sex with his wife. And then he recorded that with a hidden camera, and his plan was to blackmail Hulk Hogan with it, because apparently when Hulk Hogan is having sex with a white lady, he says the N-word a lot. This is one that I have not seen this video for myself, and I have no desire to see this video for myself.
What does he fucking do? Does he just say like, "Oh yeah, white pussy better than"?
I don't know. I don't want to know. Some things are better left buried in the dark forever.
I mean, 6 feet under currently. Look,
Hulk Hogan doesn't say that word anymore.
Hulk Hogan and Dick Cheney are currently holding each other's junk as they pee.
Yeah.
It sure is hot down here, brother.
So Hulk Hogan did sue Bubba the Love Sponge, and he won that lawsuit and everything. But like when I heard that Trump blew Bubba, and Putin might have had tapes for it, I'm like, that sounds like a Bubba the Love Sponge situation. So that was my first thought. But then everybody was like, oh well, Bill Clinton's nickname is Bubba. I'm like, okay, that's a funnier story.
Look, he just gave him a taste of the presidency well before his time.
Yep, indeed. So he got a taste for politics. But then I guess Epstein's brother came out and was like, no, Bubba was not Bill Clinton. But he didn't clarify who it was. And then someone else,
Epstein's brother, very credible source.
Yeah. But then like somebody else found out that like around that time, Epstein's brother had a horse named Bubba. And I assume
Ghislaine Maxwell had one.
Okay, Ghislaine Maxwell had a horse named Bubba, and I'm assuming that's where all this fan art from you originated.
I'm guessing.
You talked about Bubba the horse.
I give up.
Now I will say, when I saw the artwork, it was two separate images kind of combined into one in a collage sort of thing, but my brain didn't interpret it that way at first. I didn't see the little U. It just looked like the horse had a penis growing out of its leg.
No, that's the all the way through tag.
Yeah. Okay. But, yeah, speaking of Trump blowing things, so this was...
That's a way to segue into a topic.
I mean, when I saw the headline, I'm like, whoever wrote this headline knew what they were doing. They had to know. There's no way they didn't know, because the headline for this is, "In blow to Trump, federal judges block new Texas congressional map." Like, that's not an accident. There's no way that's an accident.
God, can we just call this one Bubbagate?
Bubbagate, yes. Okay,
I think this
agree.
One is just
this is Bubbagate. Okay, well, we've got some donors for the charity fundraiser that I've forgotten to mention up at this point. So
wait, guys, he's the throatist goatus potus.
Indeed. So someone donated $100 anonymously. Thank you, someone. Back to the articles.
Whomever you are, you're awesome. Do it again.
Indeed. So yeah, the Google. I remember the Google. See, I remind you to remind me, or I ask you to remind me, and I remember.
Google the thing, Rhino. You reminded me to remind you to remind me to remind
you.
The
Google thing. So
yeah,
when I got this email, I saw the subject line. The subject line was just the headline for the thing. But when I clicked on it, something went wrong on my email server or whatever, and it was like, oh, nope, we've had an internal error, so we can't display this email. I'm like, I have to use this headline tonight, given the Bubba news. I can't not use this headline. So I Googled this headline. And when I say Googled, I mean I still have DuckDuckGo set to my default thing. And DuckDuckGo is strange. Sometimes it does not know what to do with location-based things. And other times it just decides to do something location-based when it is not really relevant. So generally when I need something, like I need to find a store that's close by me, I will go back to Google for that because DuckDuckGo just sucks at it. speaking of sucking at it, the first result that came up when I Googled this headline was a maps result for a city that city is probably just a little tiny town with 2 houses in it, but I just learned that this exists. It's in Pennsylvania because all of the dirty named towns are in Pennsylvania. Blowtown, Pennsylvania, which is a mere 3 hours and 51 minutes away from Intercourse, Pennsylvania. And Intercourse is right beside Paradise.
Huh.
So,
well, we know how that joke climaxes.
So there probably is a climax Pennsylvania as well. I haven't looked. But,
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so I learned about Blowtown, Pennsylvania.
So, out of curiosity, is there any other meat in this particular article? Or is it just the title?
I'm sorry for edging you for so long. Yeah, so the panel of judges voted to overturn the map, saying that it appeared to be an illegal race-based gerrymandering, which it obviously was, and it was a 2-1 ruling. So 2 judges said, no, it's illegal, and 1 judge was like, yes, it's fine. And the 1 judge that was like, yes, it's fine.
Man, it's almost like the one guy who said, don't release the Epstein files.
Yeah, we're getting to that, I think. No, I didn't pull anything for that. But yeah, no, let's talk about that for a second. Unanimous vote in the Senate.
He said it was a principled no.
Unanimous vote in the Senate, and almost unanimous minus 1 person in the House. That person is Clay Higgins, who I don't remember why I know his name, but I know his name, and if you're a Republican and I know your name, it's probably not for good reasons.
Ravi is saying, hey, Cyrus, hey, listen. What am I hey listening for?
That
what am I doing?
Like Navi.
I understand.
Hey, listen!
I understand what it's in reference. God fucking damn it! Ravi, thank you for redeeming your points. Why did it have to be an ooh? Jesus fucking Christ.
I still have over 40 on the bank.
Yeah, I understand. You don't need that!
I don't need it, but I have it, and I want it.
You know, I almost said I'm going to come to your house and take it away, but like I feel like
Cyrus, if you show up at my house, I promise I will take you to Blowtown.
You're not coming into Pennsylvania.
No, I'm not. You know that's a baseless threat. But yeah, so not only was it illegal and racist in gerrymandered this map, but it was also specifically requested by the Trump administration. Thank you for the hats, Canton. Let's go with the Fez. Haven't done the Fez in a while. Fezzes are cool.
Fezzes? Yeah.
And a hydrate from Canton. Now you got to do the hydrate first because I have a massive head, so if I tilt my head back to drink, that Fez will fall off.
Get a smaller head.
Sometimes I wish.
Just go to the store. Get less head.
I spent too much time in Blowtown.
Obviously.
Seriously though, I thought that it was because my hats are all like novelty hats or whatever, so the sizing was off, and nobody's going to complain about the novelty hat that they wear for Halloween one time. But then I got a deerstalker hat while I was in England. It's a proper deerstalker hat, and its size is extra large. I was in the adult section. It's an extra large men's deerstalker hat, and it does not fit me. It is way too, it's not even a little bit too small. It is way too small. And so I'm like, maybe I just do have a massive fucking head.
And that does have to do with Texas being racist somehow.
Yes, I stayed on topic this entire time.
Yep, exactly. What are you talking about, Kevin?
Kevin? Who's Kevin?
I just tried to think of a name of a douchebag.
I'm trying to think of Kevins that I've known throughout my life. You're distracting me, sir. Stop trying to distract me from this main story.
I see. Yes, it's all my fault.
Yes.
You're right.
Yes.
I'll do better next time.
So yeah, the Texas was targeting districts with non-white majorities, and was redoing their maps so that they wouldn't be represented effectively. And judges said no. And of course,
hooray.
And of course, the state is appealing it to the Supreme Court, and with the Supreme Court that we have now, who fucking knows what's going to happen?
We really want a gerrymander. Please let us do it.
Yeah, and it really depends. Like they have been ruling against Trump in some things recently, but I don't want I don't want to rely on that. It's too scary to try and rely on fucking Clarence Thomas.
Yeah. Bruder Dave says he's been trying to get smaller head, but you won't travel to Canadian land.
Why are people talking about Sorbo in the chat? How could I forget my arch nemesis, Kevin Sorbo? He's not my arch nemesis. Eric Hovind is.
It's literally in the name.
I know Sorbo did post a tweet that was somewhat anti-Trump.
I mean, they're going to be anti-Trump for the next month, and then people are going to forget about the Epstein files. They're going to go, but he released the Epstein files. You got what they wanted.
The Epstein files has been pretty sticky so far.
Ha! It's funny because of cum.
Thank you for making it explicit.
It was already explicit. That's the nature of sexual jokes. They are explicit by nature.
Not when they're implicit. It's implicitly explicit?
Different usage of the word explicit.
Oh. Okay, Fenton sent a link and said this is why you know Clay Higgins. I have to click on the link and hope that there's nothing bad that pops up on my stream. Oh, you guys can't hear that.
I can hear it.
Yeah, but nobody else can. Boop. Now you are likely to hear it doubled.
Leftists who stay under nuclear threat can now reflect a woke sky. You made quite a non-binary fuss to save the world from globalism.
So far, this is not why I know him.
Oh my god, no, I get it.
What?
This is the quote that was used for Senator Armstrong in fucking Metal Gear Rising Revengeance. You millennial leftist who never lived one day under nuclear threat can now reflect on your woke sky. What the fuck are you talking about?
Well, I don't get that reference. I remember you saying something about that. I remember you saying something about that ages ago, but that's not a thing I get. Everybody go donate to Project Share at donate.vicerhino.com.
Yeah,
need more money. If we you remember, if we raise $500 from when we started the stream, I put my Rhino onesie on, which we've raised 100, so we've got 400 more to go, which would be what 3,300, 3,317. If we get there, Rhino onesie goes on.
Yep. In my chat, Naki, Bree, and nobody important, they're all just going the Metal Gear Rising meme. Yep, they're getting it. Lenari says MGS literally quoted him. No. So there's an entire meme culture for Metal Gear Rising, specifically based around Senator Armstrong. Some things are based on stuff that he said, like the whole nanomachine son quote, and other things are based off of just things he would say that people superimpose in there, like the my source is I made it the fuck up, Jack. That one. Like
Sure.
that's combination of real things that happened in the game and things that definitely didn't but are in character. Autobot son.
I don't know what this is with reference to, but apparently the dictionary responded and was like, yeah, we're the actual dictionary and we don't know what this man is saying. Is that with regards to the Epstein emails and how incoherent a lot of them are?
No, I think it's in regards to Clay Higgins' woke sky quote.
Ah, okay.
I think they're actually on. They're on the off topic we were on during the topic.
Okay. We never went off topic. I don't know what you're talking about.
It's all related. It's tangential.
Okay, well, the next story is going to be a bit of a downer. I'm not actually going to read the whole story. A bit of a content warning on this one.
Okay.
It relates to child sexual abuse. So
we were talking about the Epstein files literally 2 seconds ago.
True. Okay, sure. Let's just go.
Niki says no Streamlabs / Stream Elements. Wait, what do you mean? The Streamlabs Dono? Because I believe that one works. There is a Stream Elements one.
What are you talking about?
In my chat, Sake Tanuki said, no Streamlabs/Stream Elements. Is there a White Leaf site? And I do not have a White Leaf site anymore, so I'm not... The only thing I can think of, if it's White Leaf and also the Streamlabs Stream Element thing, the only thing I can think of is the Dono link.
I don't know.
Because that's the thing that all of those share. So White Leaf, White Nervosa makes the websites ripped off of Destiny's framework for Vosh, Xanderhall, Riverboat Jack, Alex Gunner, Alec Gunner. A lot of other leftist content creators use the White Leaf site just so that there's a place for people to go and chat that doesn't have the issues that Twitch does or YouTube does, but still lets everybody be together in the same chat, and it also lets people do donos without there being a cut that's taken. Oh. Also, thank you very much for the $20, Sake Tanuki. I appreciate it.
Now go give $20 to Project Share.
There's also that, which means we need the link to the charity. Real quick.
Oh god, you're making me do my fucking job. What's wrong?
I'm sorry for making you do your job.
Oh my god, I forgot about that. I had opened the official woke video games ranking thing. Because it's just fucking hilarious. And like the idea that people are living their lives, like before they'll buy a video game, they have to go check a list to see how woke that video game is just hilarious to me.
The official Cirrus, when did you get a cow form? Wait, what?
Don't you have like a cow onesie or something?
There is a cow. There is a picture of me in a cowkini. Ah.
Okay, there's the link.
Stream Elements. Where's the thing? I just saw you because I just joined Blue Sky. Oh, okay, fair enough.
Blue Sky.
There we go. So I knew that there was something else behind the $20 dono, but it didn't show up on my thing. It said Epstein Files or Epstein Files. I am scared of the idea. No, I found it. I figured that there was one attached as well, so I went over to Stream Elements to find it. But I feel like this is... I feel conflicted. Because I don't know if there are people that ever could be sexually attracted to him. But, like, there's a non-zero chance, right?
Yeah, non-zero. Yeah, so Rhino Rapscallion in my Twitch chat is wanting to know where the woke video game list is. It's, I don't know, if you just Google woke video game list, it's at, like, wokedetector.cernoslab.me.
Toogie says it's at, he actually meant in the as the pedos that they were hiding, the files hide the files.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Ah.
Yeah.
I have so much phlegm stuck in my throat. I just had chicken and rice.
That's why.
It shouldn't be causing that. That's like there's no dairy or anything in there.
Just how it goes sometimes. Like 1 grain of rice got stuck inside your tonsils.
I hate that idea is not leaving my brain now, and I want it gone.
I'm sorry. Okay, well let's replace it with the thought of David Wood having sex with a 13-year-old, also known as rape.
So you're saying David would have sex with a 13-year-old?
David Wood, apologist, well-known apologist. He said he had sex with a 13-year-old, raped a 13-year-old.
Yeah.
Now, this happened when he was 18. This isn't a recent thing. But that doesn't really make it better. Now, full disclosure.
Isn't this the same guy that also said that he, like, violently assaulted his family members with a hammer?
Yeah, so this actually happened while he was out on bond, awaiting trial for the assaulting his father with a hammer.
So he assaults his father with a hammer, he goes on trial, and then he's just like, man, you know what sounds really good? Middle schooler.
Yeah, basically.
What the fuck is wrong with Christian apologists?
Oh just a second. I have to turn off a light.
How's it going, Chris DeBlante?
You chose
Did
a
he want
bad
to
time to
turn away
join this
from that?
stream.
Oh no, I understand he turned away from that. Like that's his whole like apologia track
Yeah,
record.
yeah.
Is
And
that
also,
he
it
used
is
to be that person.
it is worth mentioning that he is a diagnosed. He has been diagnosed with antisocial personality disorder, and so they're like that's not an like that doesn't make it better. But like part of that is they don't like they literally do like where he says I did not care. They don't have empathy. It's just, like it's that's an oversimplification. And I will start by saying that if being, because his whole thing is that like I didn't have any morals until Christianity, and now even though I have antisocial personality disorder, I can be a moral person because of my Christianity. And if that's the case, then yes, I want this guy to stay Christian. I do not want to convince him that atheism is true, if that is going to result in him then doing things like this and not caring about it.
Just have a moral framework.
Yeah.
Though,
but
to be fair, there was a conversation I was having with Shivam over on his channel, Casual Magic, about one of the things that happens when people like lose their foundation. The opposite of what happened with him, where there are people who like once they lose their foundation, they learned how to deconstruct, but they never learn how to reconstruct, and suddenly like they can just become even worse assholes.
Yeah. So Rhino, Rapscallion, and Duct Tape Jake are talking about people defending that are like, oh no, it's just an underage girl. It's not like they were old, like it's 17 and a half. That's almost legal and stuff like that. So this article is not without that. Apparently some of the stuff that David Wood said about this is like to try and soften it was that like, oh, well, she was a post-pubescent 13-year-old who had wide hips and big breasts.
No, see, what you're supposed to do in that situation is go, this is a thing I did when my moral compass... Thank you for the subscription, Chris DeBlante. But the correct way to go about this, to not get a bunch of random backlash, and not random backlash, but well-aimed backlash, is to point out, you did these things when your moral compass was not very well set, as evidenced by the story that you told everybody, and you are ashamed of those actions, and you've learned to be a better person. That's how you do that. You don't suddenly start going, well, actually, she was a hot 13-year-old. Like, you don't go down that fucking rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Because suddenly the follow-up to that is, why are you justifying those actions? If you agree it was
because
wrong,
because one of his big things is
agree it was
arguing with
wrong.
Muslims, and one of the big points he makes against them is that like, oh well, Muhammad consummated his marriage with Aisha when she was 9. So he's like, well, my pedophilia was a post-pubescent girl, and your guy's pedophilia was prepubescent. So therefore, I'm not as bad as it.
No. The thing to do there is to say, hey, I did something wrong, and the difference between me and Muhammad is I learned my lesson. He did not. That's how you go about that. There are ways to handle this within his framework.
David does not, apparently. Probably the funniest response I saw to this was somebody like, so part of his story, his whole testimony story is that like, well, he was in prison, his cellmate was a Christian, and his cellmate was a person who committed a bunch of crimes, got away with them, but then later converted to Christianity and was convinced by his pastor to turn himself in for the crimes that he had gotten away with and never would have been caught for. And that's the guy who convinced David to become a Christian, and now David's a good person or whatever. And so someone replied to his confession with like, okay, so how about you turn yourself in for this then, since that was rape? And his response, oh, well, you know, they wouldn't even know where to look for these girls anymore. Nobody knows where they are or anything. Like, so, you know, it'd just be such a big hassle and everything. It's like,
again, I feel like there's a way to handle that.
Yeah,
like,
you turn yourself in.
I mean, that's one way, but like I'm saying within what he would do. Because I'm trying to operate from within the brain of David Wood, which I know is a scary place to be, since it's a brain that brains people with hammers. But within his framework.
Oh, he also called me ugly.
I mean, Nick Fuentes called me ugly. We've got it just happens in our
what
area.
Terrible people don't like us.
Weird, but like there's a way for him to handle that without looking like a current pedophile. The way you handle that is very simply going, what would it accomplish? What is your goal? Is your goal to get me to go to prison so I will reform? Because I feel like my entire backstory is that I've already done that. Like that's how you handle that.
Then my response to that is like, no, you go to prison because you might be the next guy that convinces a prisoner to reform.
And see, that's a good counter argument. I'm
like,
just trying
God
to think
will
of, like,
use
how...
you in that prison. That is part of God's plan. So go turn yourself in. So the thing that is like blatantly obvious to me in this whole thing, like, so because he has antisocial personality disorder, I don't want to denigrate everybody who has that, because like it's actually a lot more common than people think. And most people with antisocial personality disorder
Token White Dude says buckshot's another way to resolve this.
I agreed. But most people with
child predators.
Most people with ASPD, they go through life fine. Like their outcomes are generally not as good as people without it, because they just don't, like, there's some issues that they have that make it hard to navigate society. But for the most part, they're okay. But in his case,
Seth, like, calm down.
One of the reasons they are okay is because, like, they might not have the empathy or whatever to, like, I will do the right thing because I feel like I should. It's I will do the right thing because it is socially expedient. It will get me what I want. And so I feel like his conversion to Christianity was 100% the penal system will go easier on me if I reform myself as a Christian. And then there's a career waiting for me outside of the clinker as a Christian apologist with a horrible, horrible story about how bad a person I was, and Jesus will save even a bad person like me. So, like, that's looking at it cynically, but that's how people with ASPD look at things.
But it's also just how people in that situation will operate. So, like, I cannot say the name of the friend of mine that is going through this, but I think I've mentioned it on stream before. There is a friend of mine who has a family member who sexually assaulted his own daughter. And immediately after being found out, suddenly converted to Christianity, and suddenly had a group of people that were basically going, oh, well, he's getting better and he's going to be a better person immediately. Like, I'm sorry, but your support network does not need to exist within the nanosecond that you said, oh shit, I got caught, it's time to act like I am the good guy now.
Yeah, so part of what I was getting at is that, like what I said was that if being a Christian is actually making him behave better, I hope he stays a Christian. But my fear is that being a Christian makes it easier for him to exploit his position of power to get what he wants and potentially still do stuff like this.
Yeah, I am willing to say that while...
That's an all too common story among people that don't have ASPD.
Yeah, I'm willing to say that people should have the opportunity to be redeemed, but there are certain things that I am okay with being stripped away from a person forever because of what they did when they had access to power. And one of those things is stripping access to power and audience away from them. Like, in the world in the future, if there's a world where, say, like, Nick Fuentes becomes a better person, in that world, I would prefer that he never have a platform ever again. Mm-hmm. Like, that be a thing that is taken away from him, and he find other avenues to be a better person.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's David Wood. This story was right on Twitter, so I'm not going to say go read it for yourself, but like it's a difficult read. Like, he gives so many details that they were completely unnecessary, and it's just not pleasant to read. That's why I'm not getting into the details. But regarding Nick Fuentes, Olivia Williams for 279 says, glass houses, he's not a looker either.
I will also say for my chat, 15th Watcher, I understand the position that you're coming from, which is one of saying like, hey, this person can be redeemed, they can be better. Nobody is denying that, but do understand that from the perspective of somebody else, especially the perspective of a parent, their perspective can easily and validly be, I don't give a shit.
Yeah, and also step one for redemption for this guy would be go turn yourself in for the crime that you just admitted to.
Yeah, there's going to be people for whom this is a pain issue, and doing the devil's advocate thing only produces the outcome of creating an enemy or creating conflict. If your goal is to change a person's mind, then you will not do it by finding a pain point and further antagonizing it.
Yeah, and here's the thing, like I share the opinion that everybody has the potential to be redeemed. However, I also have the opinion that no one owes anyone else forgiveness. So, like, if David Wood actually does go through the process that would be required to redeem him and be like, okay, I guess he's a good person now, at no point does that mean that anyone he has victimized owes him forgiveness.
Yeah,
and
nobody
it's actually
does that.
It's actually kind of mentally unhealthy to push that on people, where it's like, okay, well, step one is forgiving the people who have wronged you. No, it's not. Like, it can be, but it depends on what the wrong is. It depends on what that effect has been on your life.
Also,
now, holding on to it and making
starts with sorry.
Yeah. Like, holding on to it and making your entire life revolve around that pain that you feel is also not healthy, but there's a way to move past it, and it does, like, moving past it does not always need to involve forgiveness. Now, I'm also not saying that forgiveness is never on the table. It's possible. It's individual. And pretending like forgiveness is always something that has to happen is not a healthy attitude.
Sakatudugi says, apparently Stream doesn't give notifications either. I need to figure out why my notifications are weird right now. But also, thank you very much. I do not remember what's on my treat stream, and I am uncertain of if I will be able to consume it because of diet reasons, but we will see when it gets here. I forget what was on there.
Send it to me, I will eat it.
Okay, cool. Let me just put it in my teleporter, send it up to Canada. Pizza, I could probably get away with doing a slice of it and then just saving the rest for tomorrow. That would probably be the right way to go about that.
Yeah, cold pizza's still good.
Oh yeah, cold pizza's fantastic.
Okay. Moving on. Where's the beef? Trump administration says that beef prices could hit $10 per pound because of migrants.
What? But they don't have anything to do with the beef industry being expensive. What?
Well, okay, so what Secretary of Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent is claiming that the migrants are bringing their cows with them, and the cows they're bringing with them are bringing cow diseases to American cows, and that's why the herds are dying off and beef prices are going up.
So it's literally they're bringing the Mexican cows, and the Mexican cows are tainted.
Yes.
That's so stupid.
So here's the thing with that. So the thing that he's saying that they're tainted with, where is it? A screwworm, I think. I didn't highlight the word screwworm, that's weird. That sounds like the kind of word I would highlight. Yeah, screwworm. So yeah, they're saying that these the people from South America are bringing their cows up to the States with screwworm, and that's infecting the American cows, and that's going to make the prices of beef go up. Problem with that story is there hasn't been a single confirmed case of screwworm in American cattle for quite a while. Now, this
is a very much like a source bro situation.
Now, well, here's the thing, though. Screwworm is a problem in South American cattle. So if they were bringing all their cattle up here, that could be a concern.
Yeah.
But there's also a problem with the population of cattle in the United States. That is caused largely by climate change. There have been so many droughts in so many places that have lasted for so long that there's not enough grazing land for them.
Places that they would otherwise be eating at are now just barren.
Yeah, so cattle herds are at a 70-year low, which has come as a result of years of droughts and have reduced grazing land along with higher expenses for raising livestock. So, yeah, there is a beef shortage, and that is causing the price of beef to go up. But it's being caused by climate change, not by migrants. And
also, I am trying to find where you put the link in my chat, and I am failing.
Somebody else posted it right after me.
Go
to
I'll just use
donate.vicerhino.com. But that is a forward, and for some reason, I don't know if this is true for everybody, but when I am using a Chrome-based browser, it does not like that forward. Firefox works fine.
Also, Sakatanuki did another $20 tip saying that in regards to the previous conversation, it's literally the R. Kelly defined teenage moment.
Oh, I don't know what that means, and I don't want to know.
I believe R. Kelly was diddling kids, and
is that one of those?
I feel like that's a big.
Is that one of those moments where you make the distinction between pedophilia and ephebophilia and whatever the fuck the other one is?
I feel like, so outside of the content creator sphere, where you're going to get exposed to these kind of ideas all the time, I feel like a red flag for me is when somebody makes the distinction.
Yeah. So
when somebody goes hebophilia, and I'm just like, so you think 14-year-olds are hot? Well, no, no. Stay on topic.
Are you familiar with the comedian Gianmarco Soresi?
No, I'm not.
So I didn't see anything from him, and then out of nowhere he was all over my timeline, and then I saw him like emceeing events for Zoran Mamdani. I'm like, okay, I'll take it, whatever. But he had a bit where like he gets up and he talks about like so I heard Megyn Kelly was like talking about how 15 is different from 8, and he goes into the whole like, so there's this like pedophilia is this and ephebophilia is this and then whatever the other one is this, and he gives the whole definition, is like very straight faced the whole time, and then he finishes it with like, and so I think the real problem with this is, and like the reason we tend not to make this distinction is that it's impossible to make this distinction without sounding like a pedophile.
Saga Taduki with another tip that R. Kelly was asked by Eric Andre if he was attracted to teenage girls, and he said, "What kind of teenage are we talking about?" There's the context.
Yeah, so that's one of the things where like 18 and 19 is technically legal. I'm still not comfortable with that. That's still very young. Give me the MILFs all the way.
I can see the perspective where somebody's like, what about a 19-year-old? Like, okay, well, that's an adult. Legally, that's an adult, sure. Then the question becomes, what life experiences do y'all have that have any cross-compatibility? This person who is just now establishing their life and has no power, and you who is, in your 30s or 40s who have established everything.
We both have a map to Blowtown.
Oh, God damn it.
I'm sorry.
Sarah Tagrita says for R. Kelly, worse, he wrote her a song called Age Ain't Nothing But a Number after pissing on her. I love the internet. It was not a mistake.
It was a big mistake. No, the internet in general wasn't a mistake. Getting faster internet speeds than dial-up was a mistake.
So our jobs was a mistake.
Yes.
I agree.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Anyway, back to the beef. So yeah, there have been no confirmed cases of infected cattle in the United States. So now the interesting thing here is that they're blaming these.
Do we start infecting the cattle with screwworm just to like make Donald Trump right in retrospect?
I could see them doing that actually, but RFK Jr. just shares his brainworms with the cow.
Just wants to give them a little bit of a taste.
Yeah. You distracted me. I'm off topic now.
I'm sorry. It is all my fault.
Yep. Screwworm, migrants. So yeah, they're blaming the migrants for the screwworm, but the screwworm has not been found in a single American cow as of yet. Oh yeah. So Trump's solution to this, the way he's trying to bring down beef prices, is by importing more Argentinian beef. You know, the beef from South America, where they actually do have a problem with screwworm. Because, like,
So we're going to be importing the beef that is likely to
'cause-
have it.
well, because
and
right
then
now,
we're-
they do, like, the states does not import beef from South America specifically because of screwworm. It's too big of a risk, and so the solution to rising beef prices is to blame migrants for bringing screwworm into the United States and then importing beef with potential screwworm infestations.
I love this strategy. It
that's-
seems like it's going to work perfectly
That
fine.
is almost exactly what we just said, where, like, oh well, they're gonna purposely infect the cows.
Yeah, they're going to make it a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah.
God damn it. And Saga Tanuki with another tip goes, this is why we shouldn't have wasted the worm treatments on COVID. This is why you don't push horse dewormer, Joe Rogan. Instead of wasting it on the... God, the concept of it being horse dewormer is even weirder with the current political climate. Oh my God, Trump was pushing everybody to get horse dewormer because he gave it to an ex-lover. Because it was actually meant for Bubba.
Oh.
I understand now. It all makes sense.
I don't want to live in this world anymore.
You don't want to live in this world anymore? But this is the world that has Bubba.
The fact that there's so much ambiguity around who Bubba could even be is just... No.
Yeah, Bubbagate 2025.
Bubbagate. This timeline is going to give me clinical depression.
I think you already have that?
I don't think that I do, although... So I did... So if y'all don't know, my partner is a therapist. So part of her job, like she is not able to diagnose anyone, but part of her job is being able to detect like warning signs so that she can refer people to diagnosis. And that's how I ended up with the... Okay, I am diagnosed with ADHD. I'm not diagnosed with autism, but I have had multiple professionals tell me that I'm probably autistic. And I have kids that have been diagnosed autistic, and it is genetic. Like, there's a very strong genetic component, so yeah, I'm probably autistic.
15th Watcher says, I trust the horse dewormer more than the COVID vaccine. Can you elaborate on why? I feel like that will illuminate far more than me explaining how a mRNA vaccine works.
Yeah, I mean, I have a whole video on the mRNA vaccine if you want to go watch that. It's called How Did They Make the Vaccine So Fast? And it goes into some of the science of how it works, and it's pretty cool. It's a bit of an old video. But
because many COVID vaccines has been shown to have harmful consequences, such as, and in what amounts?
Yeah, basically all of the harmful consequences of the COVID vaccines are like a very, very, very toned down version of the consequence of actually getting COVID. Like myocarditis.
You mean like what happens when you have a vaccine in general?
Like, yeah, exactly. Like 0.1% of people who get the COVID vaccine get myocarditis. 10% of people who get COVID get myocarditis. I am pulling these numbers out of my butt. They're not actually accurate, but it, like the ratios are approximately equal. And also, there's fucking long COVID. I forget the channel name, but there was a science communicator who I used to watch her videos all the time.
So speaking of that, 15th Watcher, are you aware that being diagnosed with COVID-19 gives you a 33 times chance from whatever your previous set was to have a blood clot? Getting COVID has a chance of giving you a blood clot. It therefore follows that getting a weakened version of the COVID vaccine can give you a chance of that, but the chance of the blood clots from the COVID vaccine will inadvertently be lower than the chance of blood clots from COVID, because that's how vaccines work.
Yeah, so Physics Girl, used to watch her videos all the damn time. She got COVID fairly early on. I don't remember whether the vaccines were out yet, but I don't think she had been vaccinated. And she ended up with long COVID, and it was so severe that, like, only just this year has she been able to get out of bed for an extended period of time. And she had it like back in 2020, 2021, somewhere in there. So, like if you have your vaccine, you're far less likely to end up with long COVID. And if you do get long COVID, it's going to be far less severe than if you didn't get the vaccine. So like, yeah, there are possible negative side effects for vaccines, as this is true for all vaccines. But the negative side effects of the actual disease are far worse.
15th Watcher says, in various countries, more people who got a variant of the vaccine got COVID than people who didn't. So you understand that the word in various countries has no weight.
There's also so many people have been vaccinated at this point that that's a statistical, like, because it is not 100% guaranteed to prevent you from getting COVID, it's statistically guaranteed that more people who get COVID will be vaccinated at this point than not vaccinated, because more people are vaccinated.
Like the thing you are describing is what you would expect when you have a vaccine that was as widely distributed, especially because I said distributed, didn't I?
Sebastian S sent $200 for the onesie. Thank you, Sebastian S, but we're not quite there yet. I think 1, 2, 3, I think there's $100 left. Did I do my math wrong? I wish there was a timestamp on these, because Bill M's donation was already in. So yeah, the 100 anonymous, so that's 200, so that's 400. So I need one more $100
for the onesie.
So it'd be 32.17, but I said 33.17 earlier. But I was just wrong, I guess. Anyway, this isn't a COVID vaccine stream. There's plenty of information on it. Just get your fucking vaccines, man. Don't be scared of the needle. We need another $100 to get me into the onesie, and it's looking like it might be an early night tonight because we're already moving on to the tweets. I only had 3 news stories. So you guys don't have long to get me in my PJs.
Borther. Heel yeah, Borther.
Heel yeah, Borther.
It's making fun of Hulk Hogan. Rest in piss.
Okay. Well, we're starting with Steven Anderson.
Oh.
Okay, so this bit of backstory on this one. Did you hear about that TikToker who called something like 30 churches and told them that like her baby hadn't eaten for a day and she
they
needed
basically
formula?
told her to fuck off?
Yeah, and like all except for like 3 of them said, "Nah, we can't help with that." No, she didn't just call churches. She also called mosques and synagogues. 100% of the mosques and synagogues were like, absolutely, how can we help?
But the churches...
All the churches, except for a couple, were like, nope, go somewhere else. Now, in their defense, often when they said go somewhere else, that came with a phone number of where else she could go. But still, if you have an infant that hasn't eaten for a day, like that's the story she was telling... like if I got a random phone call that I just answered for whatever reason, and the person on the other end was like, yeah, no, I have an infant that has not eaten for a day. Can you get me some formula and meet me at a parking lot or whatever to drop? I'd be like, yeah, absolutely. Like, what are you going to do? Hawk the formula on the black market? I don't fucking care. Here's some baby food for you. Feed your fucking baby.
I will say one thing.
I don't like dead babies.
I will say one thing. I know that we're not trying to focus on COVID vaccine stuff. I 100% agree. But I found the number for the risk of increased blood clot with the COVID vaccine. The increased risk is 0.0001%. A percentage that in scientific studies would be considered not statistically significant.
Like,
so
eating one potato chip probably has a bigger risk of a blood clot than that.
So I can agree with the statement, it increases the risk of getting a blood clot. And I can also say the following statement, that previous statement is meaningless without quantifiable data. Once I look at the quantifiable data, the statement has even less weight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah. Anyway, back to the baby formula. Like,
yay!
I don't care if someone is lying to me about needing the baby formula or whatever. Like that. Like, what's a case of formula cost? Like $40? Like, I recognize that this comes from a
What
position...
are they going to do? Pawn the formula off on the black market?
And again, I recognize that like for a lot of people, $40 is like, I know they can't just drop that on someone they don't know. I get that. I am not in that position. Like, yeah, no, I I need to feed my kids as well, but I'm not on the verge of starvation. An infant that hasn't eaten for a day is on the verge of starvation. So, like, sure, do I have to maybe, eat pasta for dinner instead of cooking a nice meal? Sure, probably. But a baby didn't die. And even if they're lying to me, it's like that's like the risk is so little. And I'm not a church that takes in a bunch of money. And I imagine everybody in the audience, if they were in that situation, except for the like, I know some of you are very much not doing well, and you guys don't donate to Project Share. Like, maybe go visit your food banks if you need that. Don't be ashamed of doing that. It's okay. But like, a church should be able to just be like, okay, yeah, here's some formula. Like, yeah, I'll send the secretary out to the store to grab a case of formula for you. Go for it.
Is Steven Anderson's way of handling this is saying that if we give people baby formula, we're funding fornication?
Yeah, so that's
what a fucking moron.
Oh, we got another $100, so I got to get in the onesie. Thank you.
Get the onesie, Shinji.
Thank you, Anonymous. Doing it off camera.
No, well, there he goes. Okay, so I can actually do this here now. We can be back to because I'm interested in the conversation happening in my chat right now. Once again, I will say I appreciate everybody's enthusiasm having the conversation about COVID. A lot of us are fairly educated on how the vaccine works. 100% get that. And again, the enthusiasm is fantastic. But we got to note a couple things here. One, 15th watcher, when I looked up the statistics on what the increased chance of blood clots are, do you recognize that the number that I found means that your statement does not have statistic significance? Are you willing to admit that? Because that is what the number 0.0001% would mean. Secondly, as far as turning your immune system into a subscription service, actually, no, it doesn't do that. So you're aware that COVID as a sickness or as a virus is one of the fastest mutating viruses we've seen. Like, as far as rhinoviruses are concerned.
Rhinovirus.
Yeah, as far as rhinoviruses are concerned, yes. Hi.
I'm a virus.
You mutated. It mutates at a very, very rapid rate. So when you say that it turns your immune system into a subscription service, it doesn't, because that's how your immune system was going to be operating in the first place. It's the COVID that operates that way. It mutates very quickly. We get much like the flu or any other endemic sickness that we have. It tends to mutate within our population at such a rapid rate that you can get vaccines that lower the likelihood of you catching things and lower the severity of them, but we cannot eliminate a rhinovirus.
So my main takeaway from this is, if a couple of chucklefuck YouTubers can have all of this information ready to go off the top of their heads, it can't be that fucking hard to find. So stop, don't do your own research at naturalgreenmommy.com. Do your own research in, trusted medical sources, because this is easy fucking stuff to find. Natural Green Mommy is
hot.
Okay.
Natural Green Mommy sexy.
So Steven Anderson, with reference to, I'm pretty sure this was with reference to that TikToker who was trying to feed her baby. Yeah, I mean, she didn't actually have a baby. It was a test. But he said, should churches give money to single mother whores who pay for their bastard children, or should the church's money be used exclusively for the work of the Lord? I
feel like feeding children is the work of the Lord. In fact, I'm fairly certain Jesus did exactly that.
Anyone who causes these little ones to come to harm, it'd be better for them to not have been born. It was that's a paraphrase of a thing that Jesus said. So, yeah.
Stop making fun of us poor Americans.
Quite famously, Jesus hung out with a whore. That was one of his closest disciples.
Yeah, so Steven Anderson thinks that Christianity is an old boys club. The more I listen to him speak, the more I feel like that is what he thinks it is.
Why would you listen to him speak?
Because I do it for my job.
Yeah, I have the same job as you. I don't listen to this guy. Last time I heard Steven Anderson speak was when I covered a Matt Powell video that had him as a guest.
The fact that Matt Powell had Steven Anderson on as a guest is wild.
Well, it was, I think it was in Science Falsely So Called.
Oh,
Like
okay.
he was part of the round table of other NIFB pastors who all agree that evolution didn't happen. So, yeah. And, even in Steven's own audience, 65% of them say go ahead and fund the fornication because you're not supposed to be judging people. You're just supposed to be doing good works.
Yeah. Easy. Like, it's sad to think that not only does Steven Anderson truly believe the things that come out of his mouth, but it's sad to think that there are people that listen to that and go, hell yeah. Because I remember the God Guns Guts and Glory, the dude who like tried to call me a pedophile on his stream multiple times. One of them, Young Ripa being the other one. I remember him like constantly going to bat for Steven Anderson as like a perfect man of God.
Well, then he either hasn't read his Bible or hasn't actually heard anything that Steven has said. Because, those two things are incompatible. I mean, unless we're talking, I guess if you cherry pick, there are terrible things like when Jesus said, "I did not come to bring peace but a sword," and if you don't hate all the members of your own family, then you can't follow me. But yeah, Jesus did say some stuff that would work for Steven Anderson, but most of it was not that. There was a much greater focus on helping the poor and needy than there was on not liking your family. But yeah,
on the COVID thing from before, I hate to keep
still
you back
God
to
damn it,
this.
Cyrus.
So I did ask for them to provide evidence of the claim that COVID-19 vaccines turn your immune system into a subscription service. So they provided an article from PubMed that said, since the introduction of the mRNA vaccine by Pfizer, efficacy and immunogenicity waning of COVID-19 vaccines was reported, and decision-making regarding a booster remains a top priority worldwide, a decision that should be made based on breakthrough infection rate and antibody titer decline over time. The conclusion of the study was antibody titer drops rapidly 1 month after the second dose of the vaccine. All infections within the study period were mild or asymptomatic, after which titer elevations were seen. That is just how a vaccine...
The vaccine works, but the immunity wears off over time.
Yeah, like that's,
okay.
Again...
I'd rather get a bunch of shots than get COVID once.
And the reason that the immunity wanes over time is one of the main reasons is how fast the virus itself mutates.
Jester says Cyrus is a slimophile.
Oh, well. Possibly. Like, that information there.
Magical Cat Girl says, COVID vaccine turned me into a cat girl. Best vaccine ever.
Jesus Christ. But yeah, that doesn't mean that your vaccine is now a subscription service. That is just the way that vaccinating against COVID works. It is a rapidly mutating rhinovirus. This is what we would expect. It doesn't... So you said it decreases antibody production. It doesn't decrease your body's total antibody production.
No,
That's
it's
not
just
what the study
the
says.
increased antibody production fades over time, is what I got from that.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting from it too, and I'm reading the same thing. It's not saying that it decreases the rate at which your body can produce antibodies for everything. All it's saying is that the shot itself
I'm
has
curious.
to be boosted.
I'm curious about what this person thinks of the measles vaccine. Because if I find out they're anti the measles vaccine, I got some fun information for you regarding your immune system being a subscription service or whatever. So yeah,
I would also point out that tetanus, the tetanus shot works the same way, but because tetanus is not a rapidly evolving sickness, we tend to only need that one every 10 years. Like, there are very few vaccines that you can get that are a one and done, you never need them again type of deal. Unless,
most
of course,
most of them are diseases that don't mutate fast enough to like have seasonal variations like COVID and the flu.
Or if it's a disease that we have gotten very close to eliminating, and therefore the vaccine literally just needs to be there to make sure your immune system is good during a formational period.
Yeah. Okay.
15 Watcher says, I'm fine with the vast majority of vaccines. Fair enough.
Okay. Because it drives me nuts when people use these same talking points against the measles vaccines, because the measles will actually completely wipe out your immune system. Like, any immunity you had to other diseases, measles will wipe that out. So, like, if you like, I'd much rather get vaccinated for the measles than get the measles and then need all the other vaccines again.
But I will say, in an ideal world,
not the system, but the immune memory. Yes.
Yeah, in an ideal world, we could get one COVID vaccine and that would be it. But that would require COVID to operate ideally. As COVID is a rapidly mutating rhinovirus, it doesn't behave in a way that's conducive to us being able to just eliminate it or do a single shot and it's all done. We're going to have to constantly update it just like we do with the flu.
I don't know if they do this in your pharmacies, but like when I got my COVID booster this year, they asked me which shot I wanted. Which is fucking weird to me, because with every other vaccine, it's just, here's the shot. Now you have it. And like, there are multiple versions of that, but like, this is the one that we have, so that's the one you get. With COVID, it was like, okay, we have the Pfizer and we have the, whatever the fuck I don't remember these companies' names, Johnson & Johnson or whatever. So like, I don't know if this is the same in American pharmacies, but in the Canadian pharmacies, you can choose to have the not mRNA one. So like, if you're scared of the new technology, get the one that's not the new technology.
You can get a classic vaccine. I will also say there's a thing that's happening in the chat, and I said for it not to happen the last time. There is a lot of assuming what this individual's intentions, consummation habits, like all of that are. Guys, when conservatives do that shit to us, we get fucking angry.
Mm-hmm.
So why are you doing that as well? Let somebody explain their positions, and if they explain a position that is bad, they've shot themselves in the foot. If you ascribe a bunch of positions to a person, you have to do the work of detangling that conversation to get to the point where the person can shoot themselves in the foot. Like, I don't know what you're trying to accomplish other than like a holier than thou conversation.
Also, like, there's a very big difference between someone who like might have concerns about what they see as a very new technology, and like there's a lot of misinformation around going out there, where I could see someone who is perfectly reasonable. You're like, okay, well, the new vaccines are experimental still, even though that's not actually true. So like, it's entirely possible for a vaccine positive, reasonable person to have concerns about the mRNA vaccines. And if we just assume that they're completely anti-vax and run with that before talking to them about that. That's why I didn't be like, oh, you're an idiot because you also don't like the measles vaccine. It was like, no, I want to know your opinion on like different vaccines before I make that assumption. You're not going to change minds by being like, oh, well, here's other positions that I assume you hold.
Like, for any of you who want to know how to have one of these conversations where you don't end up having an actual mega disagreement that makes everything fall apart, please go look at the video from the No Kings protest, where I went up to the Trump supporter who was the anti No Kings protester with the Trump flag. Watch my conversation with him. I'm willing to just toot my own horn and say that's the technique that works. Ask somebody questions about their positions. Get them to justify their positions. If they come to a point where they can't justify them, that may be their mode of introspection. But you can't control where a person's brain goes.
Ooh. So Paige Wilder says, Project Share sounds like a good cause. I just didn't think food insecurity was an issue in Canada because the rental crisis gets more attention. Yes, food insecurity is also an issue in Canada, but with regards to the rental crisis, they also help with homelessness. Like, Food Bank is not the only thing they do. They also run a homeless shelter. They help people find jobs. They help people with late bills and stuff like that. They do a lot of good stuff that is not just food insecurity stuff. But yeah, food insecurity is also an issue. Base method of giving out rope. Thanks, Cirrus, says Jester.
The base method of giving out rope. I mean, it kind of is and kind of isn't. For some of it, I legitimately want to know somebody's positions. I cannot talk about a position that I've like facsimiled onto them. I don't think that that's very useful. That's a thing that people that I make fun of on my channel do. And I don't want to be the one that does that because I make fun of people when they do it.
Yeah. I mean, it's also just better for a conversation if you actually know what the other person's positions are before you start to talk about them. Okay, next tweet. C3 says, the number of times Jeffrey Epstein visited Clinton White House was 17. Trump White House, 0. The media and Democrats left this out. Sirs, can you guess why that is?
Because he was under investigation or in prison the whole fucking time, because the sweetheart deal was in 2017.
Yeah. And then he died in 2019.
Yeah, like, of course he didn't visit the White House during that time.
Also,
he was in jail or dead.
Also in,
my dogs are barking.
in 2017, he went to Mar-a-Lago for Thanksgiving.
Also, be right back. Dogs are doing the bark.
Dogs are doing the bark. It's not 10 o'clock yet. They still got 10 minutes. Fuck the dogs. Did you have that clip with the mega dude? Yeah, it's on his channel. I saw it on YouTube. His YouTube channel. FedEx says, no, do not. Staff, your services are needed. Yeah, no, it's on his YouTube channel, which I'm not sure if it's Necosaurus Live or just Necosaurus. I used to go out of my way to make sure the tag worked on the YouTube stream. But then the service was like, oh, no, you always tag me in the wrong channel anyway. And so I'm like, okay, well, fuck that then. Yeah, there we go. I'm leaving that up so Service can see it when he gets back. Oh, Epstein was going to be part of the cabinet until he was instituted. Was that a thing? Epstein was under consideration for Trump's cabinet? I mean, I shouldn't really be surprised, but yeah, that's nasty. The dogs don't observe daylight savings time and daylight standard time. No, they don't. My next neighbor's dog has been losing their shit for the last couple of weeks for some reason. My neighbor's dog is called Sparky, and Sparky is a very loud
Saki told
dog.
me to die.
Okay, what'd you do?
She had mouth surgery to get a tooth removed on Monday. She can't have solid food, and I just walked in with a fresh pizza.
I mean, looks like you're not going to Blowtown tonight for a number of different reasons.
That already wasn't gonna happen. You're correct. Also, thank you again, Sake Sanuki. I'm gonna have a slice.
I would like to draw your attention to Stoff's message in the chat that is currently highlighted on my stream.
Yeah, I've been reading it for the last 30 seconds, and I wish I wasn't.
Yeah. So you have that to look forward to.
I don't.
Okay. Yeah, no, this is one of those things where, like, Clinton, how many terms did Clinton get? 2?
2.
Yeah, so he was 8 years in the White House. Epstein visited 17 times. Trump was in the White House for all of 1 year before Epstein went to prison. So, like,
Also,
I don't really think that's comparable.
I'm also just gonna throw this out there.
Fuck Bill Clinton?
Fuck the Democrats too. Like,
yeah.
I'm not gonna sit here and try to defend
that's the
Bill
thing
Clinton.
That's the thing, like, anytime I see somebody posting about how, like, oh, well, they say it's going to take Clinton down, well, fuck Bill Clinton. I'm like, okay, but are people really saying that as though that's going to be a hill that we're going to die on? And then I go to Twitter and all the conservatives. Yeah, but, like, I've been seeing that on Blue Sky, and it's the thing, like, is anyone actually saying this, or is this just what the people on the left are saying that the people on the right are saying? But then I go to Twitter to collect tweets, and you get stuff like this, where it's like, okay, fuck Bill Clinton. Send him to jail if he needs to go to jail. Investigate that motherfucker.
Yeah. Like,
why would that make a difference?
I am not so married to any Democratic politician of any variety, color, or stripe that I would not just as quickly throw them into a blender if I found out that they had been engaging in heinous shit. I don't care if it's AOC. I don't care if it's Bernie. I don't care who the hell it is. If you are a person who has been engaged in these activities, then you are a person that I do not want running the country, and I would faster see you behind bars.
Do you remember how quickly Al Franken got dumped? And like the thing that came out with him was like he took a picture of someone who was asleep with his hand hovering over her breast. Didn't touch her, just hovering. And because of that picture, he resigned in disgrace. He was pushed out, and we were like, no, fuck you. We don't want anything to do with that sort of behavior. So to think that we would run defense for Bill fucking Clinton, like, no. Absolutely not.
Yeah, again.
And that also happened at a time when, like, Al Franken was actually being a useful Democrat at that time. And it was like, that was actually a painful blow to the Democratic Party when he left. So like, we are actually willing to do ourselves harm in the long run to be like, no, we will not tolerate this sort of bullshit.
To be fair, I will say this. I think the reason that the MAGA crowd generally operates that way is because the MAGA crowd is largely a cult of personality. It is. There's no real way around that definition.
Cyrus, are you really wanting to talk? You are eating a cheese pizza as we talk. You know what cheese pizza means in the Q code, right?
This is a pepperoni pizza. Fuck off.
That's even worse.
Oh, you're right. It has the sausage in it. Bubba's sausage. But no. Because MAGA is a cult of personality, it makes sense that their angle of attack would be to go after the personalities within the Democratic Party as if any of us have our identities married to that. Because many people on the MAGA side do have their identities, for the time being, married to Donald Trump's personality. Not all Republicans, not all conservatives, but the MAGA crowd specifically, that is the hat that they hang when they go to bed at night.
Yeah. Moving on. JD Vance retweeted Jack Posobiec. So this is from 2021 regarding the Epstein files. So Jack was talking about Ghislaine Maxwell having made a deal that her contacts never be made public. And JD Vance was like, what possible interest would the U.S. government have in keeping Epstein's clients secret? Oh. And says, if you're a journalist and you're not asking questions about this case, you should be ashamed of yourself. What purpose do you even serve? I'm sure there's a middle-class teenager somewhere who could use some harassing right now, but maybe try to do your job once in a while. He seems to have changed his tune on this recently. Because this is from back in 2021. This is where, like, when the Democrats were in power, they were all like, yeah, investigate those motherfuckers. As soon as Trump gets power, they're like, nope. What Epstein files? It's a hoax. It's a Democrat hoax. There was never anything there to begin with.
Yeah.
Trump has signed the Epstein bill, apparently. That'd be breaking news, because that would have, the Senate had only just voted on it shortly before we went live, I think.
I mean, it's breaking news that in the fact that it's recent, but it's not breaking news because we knew that was happening.
Yeah. Although I fully expect that whatever files get released are going to be heavily redacted because of the ongoing investigations.
Or we just won't see them at all because of ongoing investigations, because that's what happened with his taxes.
Yeah, but he never actually signed a bill saying that he would release his taxes. He just kept on saying, like, oh, yeah, no, I'll release them when I'm not under audit.
Yeah, but he's been under audit for so long now.
Yeah. But there's a difference between that and I signed this thing into law that says that I must do it.
Bondi has said that she will not be releasing them because of investigations. So he can sign it, and it is all performative.
Yeah.
They're just going to do the ongoing investigation trick to prevent us from seeing what's in there.
Yeah. What purpose does JD serve? He keeps your couch cushions lubricated. Just going to let that sink in, like that deep, cushiony futon. Okay. Joey Manorino says, can someone show the picture of the reporter that Trump called Piggy so we can see if she truly looks like a pig or not? I don't have any issue with him calling a fat person a pig if they were really fat and piggy. Motherfucker, have you seen Donald Trump?
Yeah, it's a very don't throw stones from glass houses moment.
Like, he has absolutely no business commenting on anyone else's fucking appearance. Like, and I don't know. Ordinarily, I wouldn't comment on even Donald Trump's appearance. Because that's just like, who fucking cares? But they care. Trump cares. If you're not attractive, you're not worth listening to. But Trump's not attractive. He's a fat, overly spray tan piece of shit.
I love this timeline, don't you?
No, I believe my thoughts on the matter not too long ago were something like, I don't want to live here anymore. I may have just left it at I don't want to live anymore. The abyss is calling. It seems very attractive right now. Just sweet nothingness. Oh, I bet you children don't throw up in the abyss. Okay. I am not seriously considering that. If any of you all are concerned, I am purely joking. Also, have you seen Miss Piggy in a bikini? That frog is living the high life.
Jesus Christ.
I cannot say that I have ever
frog
felt any attraction to Miss Piggy in particular.
That frog is a fan of BBW.
Now, Robin Hood, though. It's a foxy fox. Anyway, moving on. Laura Loomer says, I'm going to say it. The GOP has a Nazi problem, and the more we pretend like we don't, the worse it's going to get. We do. Don't tell me we don't. So that's Laura Loomer as of November 18th. Laura Loomer, as of October 27, 2024, was just spotted an Israeli flag at the Nazi rally at Madison Square Garden. These Nazis aren't really doing a good job at this whole Nazi thing.
She's such a fucking idiot.
So it's like, yeah, you be dismissive of the Nazi things, and then the Nazis get a stronger foothold in your party. What did you think was going to happen?
Yep, that is how things function. Also, I'm seeing what's going on in the chat. I understand. I think that the right thing to do would be to let me have that conversation here in a bit, unless any of you are experts on ICE and their founding and how they operate. Because I'm not, but I'm willing to have that combo.
My chat is mostly just yelling at me for images I put in their heads.
Yeah, no. So mine, 15 Watcher said that there's some of us that are not pro-Trump. We just wanted solutions to stuff that Kamala and Biden were not doing. And the example that they gave was on illegal immigration. And so when asked if they were pro-ICE, they said they are pro-ICE. That is another 20-minute conversation that I am more than willing to have.
ICE are the brown shirts. Just
They are.
You don't need a 20-minute conversation. They're the fucking brown shirts. You're Nazis. If you support the brown shirts, you're a Nazi.
Understandable. And I agree with you, obviously.
I'm sure Cersei is going to give it more nuance once our time together is done. But yeah, no, that's...
Is that just our dynamic for this? And just like, okay, hold on. There's some layers here, and you're just like, fuck the layers, burn the book.
I mean, sometimes you're like that. It really depends on the issue.
It depends on the issue. It really does depend on the issue.
Yeah. Like, do you remember that time when it took you 1 week to go from trying to get me to stop advocating for political violence to you being like, just fucking bomb them?
To be fair, that was in response to Jesse Waters saying that he wanted to bomb the United Nations.
Yeah.
That was me going, if those are the gloves you want to play with, then we can both play with those gloves. You are obfuscating some important bits of that story, sir.
It's whatever. Fuck nuance. Who cares?
Oh my god.
Okay. Next tweet. Stephen Miller. Okay, so Senator Alyssa Slotkin posted a video that was a bunch of Congress people letting the military know that, like, hey, you actually have a duty to disobey illegal orders. It is like you do not have to follow illegal orders. That was the entire message of the video. Don't follow illegal orders. Stephen Miller says Democrat lawmakers are now openly calling for insurrection. It's like, so that to me says that that's an admission that they are issuing illegal orders.
Yeah. You have to read the room. What you're responding to is as important as the words that come out of your mouth.
Yeah.
It's like if somebody says that raping children is bad, and you begin your sentence with "but," my guy, no, I don't care the words that are coming out of your mouth next.
She was 17 years and 10 months old.
Why did it start at 17 months?
Because I get confused with numbers and stuff. I don't know. But yeah, no, she was only 2 months away from being technically legal. Like, okay, we draw the line there for, like, lines need to be drawn. Yeah, they are a little bit on the arbitrary side, but, like, they need to be drawn somewhere. And honestly, I think they've been drawn too young. Like, anyone over the age of 25 should not be able to sleep with anyone under the age of 25.
So if you're 26, you shouldn't have a 24-year-old girlfriend?
Correct.
All right, I can't wait to see how you Mott and Bailey this one.
I'm not going to. I stand by what I said.
Okay. I sure hope you're not familiar with birthdays and how they work. I sincerely hope you aren't.
You know what? I don't fucking care. Given all the issues that our society has with pedophiles being like, oh, well, technically it was legal. Like, no, just bump that age fucking up. And then it's like, oh, the 26-year-old had sex with a 24-year-old. That's technically illegal. Okay, that's a lot less bad than, like, the 26-year-old with the 18-year-old. So, like, it's a way of making it so that they can still have their technically not that bad thing without it actually being literal children.
Congratulations, you have just described the
I know,
entire...
I just did the fucking Mott and Bailey thing. Whatever,
the
fuck
entire...
you.
Well, no. Mine was way funnier. Congratulations, you've described the barely legal porn category.
I hate that category.
Understandable. You also hate the step category that uses the exact same method.
I do hate the step category, but you can't escape the step category because everything is fucking step nowadays.
Yep.
I hate it.
One step away from being
And I know why they do it too. They're by putting the step in there, it's not bad enough that people who aren't into it will click away, but it's just there enough that the people who are into it will be attracted by it. So it's like they're casting the net as wide as they can. But it's just
right,
like
I am gonna give pushback on one thing in the chat. All right, 15th Watcher. You are aware that there are people who have been in the United States legally and due to a clerical error have been shifted into the undocumented or illegal category. And it happens quite a bit. There's plenty of public
there are
lawyer
people
cases
who have
about
been sent to foreign prisons because of clerical errors. Due process is a thing, motherfucker. It's there for a reason.
Like, I'm sorry, but there's one thing that I'm not in any way, shape, and form, and it's pro-ICE. And one of the reasons is their methods are the methods that we would normally see used with the Gestapo. Their stated purpose is to protect people from a group of people that statistically do not do as much harm as homegrown United States citizens. And economically are even better for the economy than most United States citizens are.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they are an organization that exists to terrorize a population of people within the United States that, irrespective of whether they ought be here, are still living, breathing people who do not deserve to be terrorized, and there is not even a statistical argument that backs up engaging in the behaviors that ICE does.
Nope.
From a purely pragmatic point of view, divorcing them entirely from the heinous acts that they do, as an organization, they do not serve a purpose. Because somebody coming to
abolished.
Somebody coming to America, legally or illegally, does not affect you. It does not affect me. It doesn't do anything for or against your day. So advocating for an organization that exists solely to make that group of people who are not going to do anything negative in regards to your day is a behavior that I would usually see from somebody who's far more sociopathic than you seem to be.
Like David Wood?
Like David Wood. It affects everybody? Not really. No. If the guy across the street happens to be illegal, it doesn't change anything about my life.
It makes beef prices cheaper. Like, having the immigrants there. And a conversation could be had where, like, we should not have our prices low because we rely on exploitation of people who have no legal recourse for anything. That is problematic as fuck. But it is a fact that a lot of the prices of groceries in the States are as low as they are because the farmers can rely on illegal immigrants to do the work for less money than someone with citizenship or immigration status would do the work for. It's exploitation. It's gross. But, like, if you want to just break it down to numbers and don't care about the people, then, yeah, it's good for the economy.
Also, their argument is it means more mouths to feed and welfare more thinly spread.
They don't get welfare.
So, yeah, they're not eligible
and
for
they pay
welfare.
taxes.
They're not eligible for welfare because they do not have Social Security
Get
numbers.
your head out of the Republicans' ass. Like, this is Republican propaganda.
It is.
It's so easy. It's so easy to find out that shit is not true.
Generally speaking, illegal immigrants are not eligible for welfare benefits. So that is an argument that you should probably take out of your repertoire. In terms of it being more mouths to feed, what does that statement even mean? More mouths to feed only means something if you have a food scarcity problem. And if there is one thing the United States does not have, it is a food scarcity problem.
Well, they're about to, because they're scaring off all the people that pick the food.
Well, we are currently in an agricultural crisis because this is this is actually the California thing again, where California removed the felony penalty for giving somebody AIDS. And that actually lowered the amount of AIDS that was in the state. This is the same thing again. It turns out that if one of your arguments is going to be about food shortages, the mouths to feed argument is a food shortages argument, then you cannot follow it up with let's remove the group of people that are currently working in the agricultural sector. Like, that does not work. If you want... You'd effectively be doing what the UK does with the NHS, where they go, the NHS doesn't work. I've also proposed a bill to defund the NHS so that it will work worse. Like, that's what we are seeing.
If you're worried about the mouths to feed, get rid of the billionaires. They don't contribute to society, and they take up a bunch of resources.
But if you bring that up, you are now putting us into another different tangential conversation that is... Rhino,
well,
please.
I'm leading into what I'm hoping is going to be the next tweet.
Okay.
Oh, it was! Yes! Elon Musk says, become multiplanetary or die. That is the choice we face. To which my response is, yes, fucking launch all the billionaires into space and let them find their own planets.
Yeah.
I am perfectly happy for that. Like, fund that space program.
This is the Atlas Shrugged thing again. Just have them leave, and when you see that society operates exactly the same way as it did before,
probably even a little better. As long as steps are taken so that, like, people can't just come in and accumulate that much wealth again. Are you still
I am
there?
seeing, do we execute jaywalkers? Huh? Hold on.
What?
Let's see here.
I mean, that depends. Are they in a boat headed for the United States and Caribbean waters? In that case, yes.
15th Watcher says they're still illegal and deserve to be punished. Why would somebody deserve to be punished?
For existing.
Also, they then pointed out the billionaires and the people who run the economy. This is the reason why I was saying I don't want to bring in yet another set of arguments on the rails. But, okay. On the argument of deserve to be punished, do you think that a person deserves to be punished for the crime of standing on dirt?
It depends on whose dirt it is.
Like, do you think that a crime needs a victim? That's probably a better way to ask this. Do you think that a crime needs a victim?
Yeah. So a lot of people that are illegally immigrating, they're not doing so. Like they're not doing so maliciously. So like, I shall move there and take up all their resources. They're doing that because they want a better life. They're coming from somewhere where they cannot have a good life. They uproot their family and they travel there, usually through great hardship. And then they have to live it, and they end up living lives that are very suboptimal compared to what they could be living if they were not illegal, because they like we said, they don't get the welfare, they don't qualify for any of the social support, but they still pay taxes into it. So yeah, it's like, oh god, am I frozen?
You are frozen, yes.
I am frozen. There we go.
There we go. Everything's unfrozen.
Okay. So what was I saying? Yeah, so the people are coming here, they're looking for a better life, and they're putting themselves in a situation where they know they will not have the greatest life that is possible in that country, but it's better than what they are leaving. They are not doing it maliciously in order to take from other people. Is like there is no victim to this. They're, if anything, they're contributing to the economy much more than they take out of it. So like, even from a purely pragmatic, not even caring about people, just looking at the numbers situation, immigration, even illegal immigration, is a positive for the economy.
Yep.
So like
the question needs to become, what is your goal? If your goal is to have a more stimulated, better functioning economy, then you want the immigration, illegal or otherwise. If your goal is to have safer people in the United States, you actually want the illegal immigrants here too.
Because they commit less crimes.
Statistically, they commit less crimes.
They're trying to keep their heads down.
Correct. If your goal is to have a country that is safer, the data points that way. If you want to have a country that has a better economy, the data points that way. So if we're going to have a solutions-oriented conversation about it, which is the kind of conversation I prefer to have, I am a pragmatist after all. Yeah. The solution is to allow people to immigrate here legally or otherwise. Yeah. The solution is to make the process easier.
Just saying, I don't like it because it's not legal, is like, okay, well, why isn't it legal? Why is it illegal for a person to step from this side of an arbitrary line we drew on a map to this other side of an arbitrary line we drew on a map? This is the one spot where I kind of agree with libertarians.
Also, what I'm noticing, and I'm guys in chat, I really want you to understand that a person can act calm and collected and still be rage baiting you. Now, I don't know if that is what 15th Watcher is doing. Well, but it is succeeding.
Also, keep in mind that on our part, we are content creators. Getting all emotional and rage and stuff like that is good for engagement and stuff. So, like, it's not like there is a certain degree of this that is like you're talking to a guy in a giant Rhino onesie because I hit a goal raising money for charity. Like, it's an engagement thing. So, like, we're not necessarily as mad as we are like making out to be. It's a performance. I'm an actor, y'all.
My
I'm sorry.
My main thing is going to be this. I think that conversation should be goals oriented. If your goal is to change somebody's mind, lashing out at them, even if they deserve it. And I think being pro-ICE is something that people deserve to be lashed out for, because that is a decision that should be shamed. But ask yourself the question, if somebody were talking to you the way you are talking to them, would it change your mind, or would it make you lash out back?
There's also the extra consideration for, like, again, we are content creators, so there's the extra consideration where we are probably not going to change this one specific person's mind, but someone that's on the fence that is watching this conversation might have their mind changed by that.
True.
So, like, our goal is not to change the mind of the person we are talking to in chat. It is to change the mind of the person who's watching, who might not be quite as strong in their opinions, but like has, like, they've listened to the propaganda and they are kind of falling for it. And then when they hear us call it propaganda and say how easy it is to find the actual truth, like, okay, maybe there is something to that sort of thing. So yeah. Anyway,
and
launch the billionaires into space is the point of this tweet.
Yep. Again, I also think there's an aspect of this that, like, because this is me talking to my chat specifically. If you want to change a person's mind on a topic, it behooves you to stay as close to that topic as humanly possible. So bringing in things that are perfectly valid arguments, like the genocide of the natives in the United States and in Canada, things that you can feel very strongly about and be on the exact correct side of history about, bringing them up doesn't do anything.
Yeah, guess
it
what?
Does not
as
help.
A white guy in North America, I'm the descendant of illegal immigrants.
It just, in general, what it does is it provides more avenues for a person to gish gallop.
Yeah.
They don't have to do the gish gallop themselves. You did it for them by providing the extra things that they can just throw a single soundbite that is incorrect about, and suddenly you're dealing with that on top of other things. I appreciate y'all's passion in the chat. I really do. But I do not think it is effective at the goal I would hope y'all are trying to accomplish. If your goal is to change a person's mind who obviously has an opinion that you find repulsive, you will not ever change that person's mind by yelling at them. It does not work.
I don't know. I yell at my kids all the time. They change their mind.
You're in a position of power. They are not.
What? Okay. Valentina Gomez says she's running for Congress. This is the person who kind of, her first splash in the headlines was when she was running for office and she burned a Quran with a flamethrower. So she says, I will ban halal food, burqas, and the construction of Muslim cities when I get to Congress. Texas will become the worst place for Islam and illegals to live in. They're not here to assimilate. They're here to rape us into submission.
Has she ever met a Muslim?
Obviously not. But
ban halal food is, yeah, that's like saying I'm gonna ban kosher pickles because fuck the Jews.
So here's the thing. Halal and kosher meat, I can see a valid argument for banning them, because part of the process that makes them halal and kosher is that, like, they have to I'm not going to describe it, but basically
it's how the bloodletting is
done. The way it is slaughtered is a way that is needlessly painful to the animal. So I can see an argument being made to ban that specifically. Not all of halal and kosher stuff in general, but like specifically the meat. I could see an argument being made for that. I very much doubt that this is the perspective that she is coming at this from. This is just Islamophobia, plain and simple. But also, like, the reason I chose this one is it's so indicative of, like, she's running. Surprise, surprise, she's running as a Republican. This is the party that claims to love freedom.
And freedom of religion is one of those things.
Freedom of religion is one of those things. Freedom to, like, wear a burqa. If I choose to wear, like, it's clothing. She's going to ban an article of clothing? I can't wear the clothes that I want to wear if I elect you?
Also, sidebar, 15 Watcher says never wants to die to dehumanize anybody in response to somebody in the chat. 15th Watcher, I'm actually going to ask you a question, and I mean this with all sincerity. If I boiled you down to only a single trait or a single action that you had committed, and that was the only thing I would ever call you, would that not be considered a form of dehumanization? Likewise, when you call somebody an illegal, not an illegal immigrant, but an illegal, the only descriptor you have given them is a descriptor of their crime. That is what you are calling them. They are their crime. That is textbook dehumanization. That is what that is.
Yeah. And Fennec points out France did ban burqas, and I think that is insanity. I agree. Now, I think there are some situations where the full face covering or whatever, like, there are some security situations where, like, being able to get through a checkpoint or something without showing your face to prove that it's you could be problematic. 99.9% of social interactions does not matter. Just wear whatever the fuck you want. Now, that being said, Islam is a very misogynistic religion where even people in countries with more freedom like that are not necessarily given the freedom by their community to wear what they want. They'll be forced into wearing burqas or whatever. But that is not for the government to decide. Like, I would advocate for these people to be allowed to not wear burqas and niqabs and hijabs if they do not want to. And I recognize that even in countries where they technically do have that right, it is often pressured onto them by their community. And I recognize that's a bad thing, but that doesn't mean you should make those items of clothing illegal.
Also, their response was, would you calling somebody a murderer dehumanization? So, when you call somebody a murderer, you are accusing them of taking a human life. I believe that a person who has willingly taken human life, with there not being some other circumstance that forced it, there is an argument for dehumanizing that person. But do I consider that to be dehumanizing? Technically, yes. I would consider that to be dehumanizing for the exact same reason, because you are boiling a person down, their entire identity down to their crime. Even if that's not your intent when it comes to speech is almost 100% irrelevant, because once a word leaves your mouth, once you have spoken, it is how other people interpret your words that matters.
So I would say take this back to our conversation surrounding David Wood and listen to how we talked about that, because we went out of our way to say that, like, people with the same disorder, the same disorder as David Wood has, are not necessarily bad people. And we went out of our way to say that, like, even people who have done the things that David Wood has done, it is possible to be redeemed. But we don't think that he has even taken the beginning steps toward that. So, like, you can look at that conversation, how we talked about that, and, like, I'm not going to say that we're perfect at it all the time. If you, like, live streams, we're talking off the top of our heads all the time, so I guarantee you can find stuff that we've said that is
you're gonna
a little
find
bit
an
problematic.
area where we're gonna be made hypocrites on it pretty
Yeah.
easily.
I'm not going to claim to ever have been perfect, and if you bring something like that to my attention, I will happily be like, okay, yeah, I'm sorry about that, and I will make an effort to correct it. But I feel like we did a pretty good job with the David Wood thing of being like, he is still a person, and he has the potential for redemption, but this ain't it.
Yep. Also, I do have a article that points out that numerous researchers have found that using negative metaphors to describe immigrants shapes the public opinion and robs immigrants of their individuality, which could make them seem less deserving of assistance and public sympathy. It's actually a technique that the White House has been using explicitly. If you remember during
you said the White House, my thoughts immediately went to fascist regimes of the past, because that's kind of textbook fascism.
It is. But I will say there is an article here from Vera that does have links to some of those studies that have been done. But the article itself does go into the details of how dehumanizing speech has the knockover effect of dehumanizing a person. Again, your intent in your heart of hearts ceases mattering once other people start interpreting your words.
Yeah.
Hi, Rhino. How you doing?
I'm good.
I'm the one derailing everything.
After you spent so much time asking me not to.
Correct. I did. 100%.
That's okay. This is the
all my
last
fault.
tweet anyway, so.
Okay.
And really,
Thank you for
it's
the
been your
hydrate
chat
stuff.
derailing things tonight. It's not been you. You've just been responding to your chat.
I've been doing my job as a streamer.
Yeah, but anyway, we raised $500 for charity tonight. That's pretty awesome.
That's fucking cool.
Tomorrow night we've got you sent me a message while we were streaming and I haven't read it yet, so I was assuming the message isn't, hey, I can't do it anymore. We've got John Gleason of Godless Engineer tomorrow night. I think that's at 7 p.m. Eastern is the thing that we said. And then I am working on, I don't have a time yet, and I'm not guaranteeing that this is going to happen, but I am working on getting Pillar of Garbage to join us for a stream. If you're not familiar with Pillar of Garbage, they're a pretty good video essayist who seems to have been, they seem to have inadvertently ended up being the, this is why AI is actually pretty bad type of video essay. But yeah, they are good people. And yeah, they've got some good stuff. So that's what I'm working on. Yeah, no, John was just asking what time tomorrow was the message. So yeah, I believe that's
7 p.m.
7
correct?
p.m. Eastern is what I said.
I'll be able to do it after the gym.
Yeah. So look forward to that. That was the last tweet. So as always, fuck off.